There are two new entrants in the luxury sedan segment, and they're quite different.
The BMW is all about driver focus, and it's also about gizmos and tech. Beginning with this one, especially if you have a sticky stack parking like I do now and it's difficult to get into the car. All I need to do, use my remote, connect, and that's it. As simple as that. Car comes out to greet me. All I need to do is get in and drive off.
While the new long wheelbase Merc E-Class is all about luxury and rear seat comfort, I think I can get used to this. And the variants with us are the range-topping 6-cylinder versions of their respective lineups. This BMW 530D, it costs nearly 8 lakh rupees more than the top 520D.
And similarly for the Mercedes-Benz, the 6-cylinder 350D costs almost 12 lakh more than the 220D 4-cylinder version.
Expensive, yes, but these are also cars meant for buyers who are happy to pay more for more. More power, more performance, more refinement, more luxury and more features.
Well, which one of them really gives us more for more? Let's find out.
The new 5 Series design is considered to be more evolutionary than revolutionary, but there are noticeable changes and dimensions have increased as well. It's longer and wider than before. The M Sport body kit with its stylized bumpers, contrasting blue brake calipers and fat 275 section rear tires clearly points at where this car's focus is. Moving to the E-Class, you can be forgiven for thinking we got our visuals wrong, because this long wheelbase version can look very similar to an S-Class. The 3-meter plus wheelbase makes it look large and stately and gives you the feel that it's all about comfort and luxury. Put them both side by side and visually the sportier looking BMW steals your heart.
Apart from it being a really premium, rich and nice looking interior, the focus inside is clear. The entire dash is aimed at the driver, so are all the gizmos and gadgets. Now, you already saw me use the park function on the remote key, and of course there are things like gesture control inside the car to ensure that the driver never has to take his eyes off the road. There is also a heads-up display, and in case you don't want to use these buttons, you have the ones on your steering wheel, you have a rotary knob, you also have a scribble pad, and if all that doesn't work, it is a slick touchscreen that you want to use. Then of course there are the sporty dials with the metallic brows, and of course the sporty seats that you get, which have adjustments for everything from squab length to side bolstering that really keep you in place while you're driving.
The Mercedes, on the other hand, continues that regal theme on the inside as well. The cabin looks really modern, but it's got an old-world charm about it. This unlacquered wood on the dashboard looks really classy. The gloss black on the center console looks as if it's almost come off a grand piano. Things aren't all that perfect. The analog dials here aren't in keeping with the price of this car, but this large center screen does add a healthy dose of modernity, and it's your go-to control for all settings. You can operate it via the touchpad on the steering wheel and this central controller. The only thing is, it's not quite as slick as the BMW's unit or as user-friendly. Some drivers may also find the high cowl on the dashboard to hamper vision by a little bit.
Conventionally, it's that way. You'd be driving and I'd be sitting in the back seat and being chauffeured around, but let's drop convention today, because I think actually being the taller person, you'll pass better judgment on the backseat experience, and I'll happily do chauffeur duties too.
Well played. I'll just have a look. Well, at least it doesn't look like a punishment posting.
I don't think so.
350D is Merc's tried and tested 3-litre V6 that makes 258 HP and 620 Nm of torque, numbers that will compare well with what the BMW makes. As far as the backseat goes, the long wheelbase Merc has the upper hand on dimensions with 104mm more on the wheelbase. But the Beamer is marginally wider and taller too.
So while BMW has given all the gizmos and all the gadgets to the driver, Mercedes has used the opposite approach. All the goodies are concentrated in the back. Now let me run you through all the controls I have access to. So first we go here. That is the blinds for the sunroof. Then the blind at the back. And I also have my very own blind. Then as you can tell, there's lots of space, but I want more. At the touch of this button, front passenger seat moves forward and comfort goes into business class levels. What takes it to first class levels is the option to recline my own backrest. So there we go. And I'm set for a nice snooze after a tough day at the office. And when it is time to get set for that evening do, I've even got a vanity mirror for that last look at myself. Really has everything taken care of. This is the backseat you'd want to be in.
Well, while Nikhil is completely at comfort in the backseat, I'm doing duty as the chauffeur today. And I have to tell you that this may not be as punchy or rev as hard or feel as strong as the BMW, but this engine isn't slow either. It gets up to triple-digit speeds really quickly, but it just does it in such a linear, calm, unfettered manner. Yes, the focus is definitely on comfort.
You do get paddle shifters for the attentive 9-speed gearbox, but then given the persona of the E, you seldom use them. Trundling down our pockmarked roads or wafting down a highway, the E-Class's superior suspension comes into play.
With the suspension set in uber soft comfort mode, there is a degree of low-speed plushness that you just don't get in any car of this class. It just smoothens everything out. The thing is, when you go faster, you will have to remind the person at the wheel to go into Sport or Sport Plus mode. Otherwise, comfort is just too soft for those speeds. There's a lot of vertical movement.
Now from this end of the car, I definitely prefer setting it into Sport for the highway sections of road, just to tether it down a bit better. And although this car is not really a slow coach, you do feel that extra length of the long wheelbase from behind the wheel, and especially on a winding section of road, there's just no point in fighting physics. It's better to dial it a notch down and drive in a calmer manner.
And it's the length that's amplified when you need to do a U-turn. This is when it's better to have a chauffeur do duty. BMW's new 3-litre straight-six diesel makes 265 HP at 4000 RPM and 620 Nm of torque. And to help put that power down cleanly, there is launch control too.
Get an empty stretch of road, pin your foot down on the throttle, and you know why. This is an enthusiast's car. Now in normal mode, it does have a calmer manner, but shift it into Sport and this engine is just a bomb. And the beauty about it is that power comes in really early on, and then you have this massive surge of torque. And the lightning quick 8-speed gearbox just keeps pace, making sure you have this massive grin spreading across your face every time you accelerate hard.
Shift the gearbox to manual and the engine will also rev all the way to a very un-diesel-like 5600 RPM. The 0 to 100 time, 5.74 seconds. That's pretty incredible.
Now, while Renuka is evidently having the time of her life in the driver's seat of the 530D, I'm quite comfortable in the back as well. As you can see, space is great, it's just not E-Class great. And comfort is good, upright backrest notwithstanding, just not E-Class good. Now, dual 10.2-inch screens are standard fit on the 530D, but the BMW also does miss out on a few feel-good features that you get exclusively on the Merc.
Whilst Nikhil's backseat experience may have been better in the Merc, mine in the driver's seat was definitely better in the BMW.
Now, it's not just flat-out acceleration that makes the BMW thrilling to drive. It's the way that it actually handles the road as well. I mean, be it straight cruising on highway or carving out corners on winding section of road, it just makes you feel so connected.
There is some straight ahead slack at the overly thick rim steering and a bit of roll in corners, but even so, it is the more involving car to drive and the better behind the wheel experience. The 530D also does the daily grind rather well. You can adjust the firmness of the dampers or have adaptive mode automatically do it for you. Either way, you'll be quite pleased by the suspension's compliance.
As far as ride quality goes, there is the odd judder at low speeds, but on the whole, it is really well judged. In fact, even from the back seat, you can really tell the difference between modes. Comfort is nice and relaxed, and sport, you can feel how sharp the BMW gets.
So to sum it up, like we said in the beginning, these two cars are entirely different, and at the end we think thankfully so. Because let's face it, the last generation of the BMW 5 Series had gone a little soft and shifted focus away from the driver and sportiness, which was its heritage.
On the other hand, Mercedes-Benz has changed focus as well over the past few years. The newer lot of Mercs are not only about luxury and comfort, but there's a greater emphasis on the driving experience than ever before.
Well, thankfully, with these two cars, it's back to being the way it was always meant to be. Mercedes-Benz has brought in the long wheelbase version, aiming definitely for comfort and luxury for the rear seat passenger. And BMW, with its sporty engine and gizmos aimed at the driver, is showing where their focus is.
So, if you're going to be seated primarily at the back and are going to be chauffeur-driven, there's no two ways about it. The Mercedes-Benz E-Class is the car for you. The question is the E350D the version to go for? I don't think so. You'd rather spend your money on the E220D and save big bucks at it.
Well, this comparison is not about saving the big bucks. It's about those of you who want to spend that 10 lakh odd extra on getting more performance and a more fun to drive car with these bigger 6-cylinder engines. Well, if that's the case and you're looking for thrill factor from behind the wheel, it's definitely the 530D that gets our vote.
इसी कभी न रुकने वाले जुनून को रफ्तार देता है सर्वो वर्ल्ड क्लास लुब्रिकेंट्स।